One of the Commodore 64's biggest strengths is the ability to redefine the character set, letting you put your imagination to work to design and implement your own vision of a game or program. I was recently contacted by someone from the channel who watched a few of my videos and had a question. He wanted to know how to create a custom character set using BASIC. He saw that I had a few assembly language videos on the topic, but wanted to know how to do something similar instead using BASIC. So I decided to put together this quick video. The first thing I did was to open this website, c64wiki.com/wiki/character_set, which has a great article on the topic and a few sample programs already written. In this video, I plan to demonstrate the programs listed from the Commodore 64 wiki site, followed by a quick session covering the CBM Program Studio character editor, where I design a few simple characters and export them for use in a BASIC program. After that, I will do my best to cover multicolor mode on the Commodore 64, which allows you to have up to 3 distinct foreground colors in one character, in addition to a separate background color. I then plan to cover the extended background color mode. So let's jump right in. Before getting started, I wanted to remind folks, before you even decide to create your own special characters, remember there are a number of PETSCII characters built right in. To quickly access them, all you have to do is press the Shift or Commodore key and press a letter. On a PC with Vice emulator, you can use the Shift or Control key to display the PETSCII characters. Alright, so here's the PETSCII wiki article, which sort of covers those characters, the special characters, and there's also a separate website. There's lots of websites that show these special characters that you can use that are already built into the Commodore 64, so you may not even have to redesign your characters. But jumping into the character set, wiki page, the c64wiki.com character set page is very, very interesting read. And it has a few examples here to explain to you how to turn on the custom character set. And it gives a listing right here, and I wanted to show that to you and cover it here. There's only 5 lines, but when it runs, you actually need one more line to get it to work. But let's go over this. The first line turns off program interrupts, and what interrupts kind of are, they're like background processes or background programs that are running many times a second. So in order to redefine the character set, you turn that off. While on the topic of the interrupt, I wanted to point out that the raster line, as it draws the screen, it can be interrupted and tricks can be made on the Commodore 64. And for example, you can display the multicolor character set as well as the regular characters, as well as the extended background mode colors, all on the same screen if you manipulate the interrupts in the proper way. Turn that off, and then on the second line you have to turn on the character ROM. And that's what this line does. The third line copies the character set from ROM to RAM. And in this case, this subtraction right here, if you think of it in terms of hexadecimal, so it's subtracting D000 from A000, which essentially is 3000 hex. And then 3000 hex is 12288, which we'll see in a few minutes here. So what the third line is doing is copying ROM to RAM, the character set, the entire character set. It's kind of a slow process right here. It's copying it from hex D000 into 3000, and that's what this line is, 3000 hex. The fourth line is switching out the character ROM, and then the fifth line turns the interrupts back on. So what we can do, let's copy this and do a quick program on the CBM Program Studio. So we'll do a new basic program, char set. We'll copy these in. These need line numbers. And these need rims, but I'm going to strip the comments out here just for quickness. And let's go ahead and run it. Now, just this first time, I'm going to let it run at actual speed just to show how slow it is. And that's why there's a second program running, or that was written on the site, which employs assembly language to speed up this part right here. This is the copying from ROM to RAM. Takes a little bit of time in BASIC, in Commodore BASIC. Okay, finally finished. Got the program, so it's done. Now we haven't actually redefined anything, we just copied characters over, but I'm going to put a character up there at the top left portion of the screen. And then following the example from the site, what it says to do right here is to try redefining one of the characters. So what I'll do is on that first character, the first character is at 3000, which is 12288, and I'm going to make it a 0. Now normally if your character set has been turned on, or if you've pointed it to your character set to the correct memory location, this character would have changed. So this program right here is missing a line, and that I determined is this line right here, to set the character set RAM at 3000. So let's do that line number, and that's actually in the second program, it's not listed in the first. So, and that will set it to 3000. And you notice when I hit return, it started redefining that character, started changing it. So if I go to 89 here and set it to 0, the next line disappears. 90, the next line disappears, and so on. So here's where you are actually defining the character. If you were to put data in here, you're actually designing it. Now there's a better way to design this, and I'll go into that in a few seconds here. Right after I demonstrate the more efficient German example, as they say right here, that's listed. So I'm going to copy this program, bring it into Program Studio, Control A, Control V. Now, when I was doing this in testing, this is redefining these characters over here, but these are special characters and CBM doesn't like them, so I'm going to strip out the comments and we'll run it. See how fast that ran? And now I'm going to put the character @ up here, and we'll try the pokes statement again, 12288, 0. And you see now this time it actually worked as advertised. Now the better way, the easier way of actually designing your own characters set is to go into the CBM Program Studio, and under the Tools menu, bring up your character editor. Now this brings up your character editor, and you can go in here with your left button on the mouse. You can turn on bytes, and with your right button, right mouse button erases pixels. So let's hit clear. There's a few things before I clear it. We can invert the character. We can rotate the character. We can shift it up, left, right, down. We can flip it. So there's a lot of things you can do just with this tool that makes it very easy. So let's hit clear, and I had an idea was to just kind of do, is it something like this? And okay, so let's just say that was the design that you were looking for. What you can then do from the tool is go up here to Character Set and export. You can either go to a listing to memory and to File, to Bitmap, but we're going to go to Preview. And it comes up with a few choices here. You can select this data to be generated as basic, which is what we're going to do. You can use assembly language. You can set your starting basic number. And so we're just going to pretty much take the default and hit OK. And here is what it generated for us. So I'm going to copy that. So that is the definition of this character, what it generated. So I'm going to copy it over to this program. Throw it in there. I can even keep it at 1000. And we need to renumber this. I think it's renumber. Let's start at line 10, increment at 10. And then at the last line, we'll just do a quick program for loop. They're using A, so for A equals 0 to 7, poke 12288, which is memory location 3000. We're only changing the first letter in today's example. Comma, we're going to read a character in first. Read X, poke 12288 plus A, comma X, next A. So that should effectively do the trick. Let's run it. And let's put the character up there on the top left portion of the screen. It doesn't have to be there, but I like starting there. Gives it a little checkerboard effect. So that, in a nutshell, is how you redefine your character set in Commodore BASIC, and how you can design the character using the character editor. And you can go through each one of these and make them whatever you want. You can even use the extended character, change the plus or the minus, or any of these PETSCII characters. You can modify those instead of just redefining the @ key is what I was redefining. And you can place those characters within your text and in your basic program. So let's show a quick example of that. At the end of our program here, about line 166, we can say print, quote, and then we can put our special character, which in this case is not working. In this case, right there, quote. You could kind of, there's a bunch of ways you could do, a lot of different things you could do here, but see, that's just an example of inserting the modified character in your program. Alright, in this segment I wanted to talk about the extended color mode. This was a mode I wasn't really familiar with. I learned all about this morning while working on this video. The Dust Layer website also covered the extended color mode, background color mode in detail here. And in this website it talked about the Activision game Hero. Actually, they say it used that mode. So the interesting thing about the extended color mode, it allows each character to have up to 4 different background colors. And it does some little trickery to do that. And this website, the C64wiki.com, explains exactly how that's done, and it even includes a sample program, which I think is the easiest way to quickly learn about it. So I wanted to go ahead and bring that into CBM Program Studio real quick. With regards to the extended background color mode, on the dust layer website, it breaks out the characteristics. Characters are displayed in an 8x8 bit matrix like in the standard character mode. Bits 6 and 7 of the screen code are used to determine the desired color source. Since we lose 2 bits in the screen code, only 64 different characters can be displayed on the screen. Choice of 1 in 4 defined background colors per character. 1 individual foreground color per character. So each character can have its own foreground color, and then it can have up to 4 different background colors. But you can only have 64 total characters when you're in this extended mode. So that's an important thing to note. So add new, extended, BG. Let's give it a run, and we'll talk about how it does what it does. So you can see, just as in the example below, the colors have been changed a little bit, I think, for the formatting of the website. But there are 4 different background colors. The foreground colors, A, B, C, are all the same, but those background colors are what the extended background mode is all about. And what it shows here is these are the bytes that you worry about for the background colors. So that's what lines 10 through 40 do, is choose your background colors. So if you wanted to say let's change one of them, line 10, how line 10 runs, it changes the background color. And then we have the colors also. So 1 is white, 2 is red. You can kind of go down the line here just to see what the colors are. So let's go ahead and change from 1 to 7. Let's see what that does. So poke 53281, 7 instead of 1. Okay, so that gives you, that's your main background color on your Commodore background, but that is modifying that middle one. Now let's go to 53282. And what color should we change that to? How about brown? That would be 9. Let's make it 9 instead of red. It should go to brown. There you go. And now let's do the third one. 53283. Instead of 5 is green. Let's go with light blue, 14. So you do that and you match the foreground. But I just wanted to demonstrate, when you type A and then you hit Shift A, that's hitting your red, which is line 20. Now to hit the other two, you have to turn on reverse mode. And to do that on the emulator, for the Vice emulator, it's Tab key 9, or I think it's Control 9 on the Commodore 64. So Tab 9, and then A, and then Shift while you're in the reverse mode. So there's your 4 colors. And so you can use those independently through the screen. And pretty much that is the idea behind the extended background mode. It can get confusing when you read it this way, but if you just realize, playing around with these numbers in your basic program, and then use Shift key, your normal characters, your Shift, then your reverse and your Shift, reverse. And then to exit the reverse mode is just Tab 0. So Tab 9, I'm in reverse. Tab 0, I exit reverse. In this segment, I wanted to talk about the multicolor character mode on the Commodore 64. And this is the mode that I know the least about, so please bear with me while I fumble through this segment. You know, it's a little bit confusing as well, but it's pretty well defined right here in this section. So in the multicolor mode, the pixels are joined 2 at a time to form bit pairs, yielding a matrix of 4 double width pixels by the same 8 rows as in high resolution mode. An example of this mode is shown off to the right, but we don't need to look at that right now. Depending on the bit pair combination, the color of each pixel will be. So if your bit pair is 00, 0, it's the transparent or background color. If the color indicated in the address, and they show these addresses, where the bit pair is 0, 1, these addresses for 1, 0, and then these addresses for 1, 1. The text screen in multicolor mode uses the most significant of the 4 bits in each character's individual color. This means that the screen can display both multicolor and high-resolution characters side by side, but the disadvantage is that the individual color for each multicolor character can only be chosen from the second half, color codes 8 through 15, of the normal 16 color palette. Now, this is confusing. This is confusing to say the least, so I completely understand that. So I'm going to do an example. We're going to do an example here, going back to our program in the CVM Program Studio. Hopefully this will make more sense. So we're back in the character editor in CVM Program Studio, and I have the multicolor checkbox selected. And notice as I erase characters, or I should say pixels, notice how they're paired 2 bits at a time instead of 1 character at a time. So I'm right clicking to erase and then left clicking to draw. And you can kind of design it any way you want, but this is what I've gone ahead and decided to go with. I'm going to go up here to Character Set, Export to Preview. I'm going to copy and paste the new line for the multicolor mode and erase the previous line with it. And then we'll go ahead and run it. So let's rerun this one. Start over here. Alright, before going too much further, I'm going to reset my session, and I'm going to try to do a little explanation of the color values starting at D800. D800, if we come here, is actually 55296. And normally when you poke that number, it will change the color of the entire character. And you can go, I think, up to 16 values. Now in multicolor mode, it works a little differently. In multicolor text mode, only the lowest 3 bits are used, so only colors 0 through 7 may be selected. The 4th bit is used to determine whether a character will be displayed in regular text or multicolor text. Characters with a color value over 7 are displayed as multicolor characters. Characters with a color value under 8 are displayed normally. So looking here at the calculator, if we go in binary mode and we go 1, 0, 0, 0, the 4th bit means, if it's set to 1, means that we're in multicolor mode, and we can use these 3 bits, 0 through 7, to change the color of this foreground color here. So now let's go on to the demo I was going to do. Let's go ahead and run the program. Now that the program's run, I'm going to place the @ character up at the top of the screen just for reference. And we're going to turn on color mode, multicolor mode. Poke 53270, peak 53270, or 16. Now we're going to change the color, the foreground color, at D800. And just to be sure, hex D800 is 55296. So we're going to poke 55296, comma. So remember, the first value that we can poke here, 1000, is 8. But we're going to go up from there, so we can go 9. So that one looks white. 10. 11. So you can see we're changing the foreground color. Now what we were trying to go for was that green color. We want to get that green in there. And I believe that's 13. So now we have the green. We already have the red, but let's go ahead and try modifying the red. So I believe that's the 53282 bit pair 01. I'll leave that on the screen. So let's do that. Poke 53282, comma 3. Ah, that's the top row. Now notice that when you poke a color using the bit pair, using these two bit pairs, it affects the color of all characters. And then the color on 55296 only affects that one on the top left. 55297 would affect the next character. So you have to poke it in order for that additional color value. So okay, so we wanted to go for like a blue kind of color, but let's just kind of see. Oh no, that's not a good one. Green is the one on the bottom. We don't want that. Blue is the same as our background color. Let's go yellow. So 7, essentially, yeah, that's it. But now let's do the other one. Poke the bits. Let's do bit pair 10, which is 53283. 53283, comma 1. So that changed it to white. Notice it did it for all characters. 2 would be red. And that's close to what we have here. I don't want to use that color because it's too close to the background color up here, but well, I hope you were able to follow that explanation. I know it's a little confusing. So you can really go down the rabbit hole on the multicolor mode, and you can see it kind of messes up the way the default fonts look. But anyway, it's really complicated, but between this article here, defining a multicolor character, and the dust layer article, has really good tutorial or explanation, I guess is a better word, of these modes, the multicolor mode. I just wanted to demonstrate that we can go in BASIC, start poking around, read the articles and start poking around, and you can get the desired color effect that you're looking for your program. Anyhow, appreciate you watching this video, and thanks for watching.